Studies department, and they're going to talk about all their wonderful courses that they have, the offerings that they have in each of their departments. So English is going to go first, then math, then science and social studies. Mr. Schweitzer, he's head of the science department, will also be joining us later. So I'm admitting folks as they're coming in here. We're setting this up as a recording. So this Zoom meeting will be recorded and posted onto the Whitman Counseling website. It takes a good couple of days for that to happen. So hopefully by the end of this week or the beginning of next week, it will be posted. I'm going to try to get the closed captioning going also too. I'm trying to figure that out as I do a couple of things here and multitask. So bear with me. Registration is coming up. I'll go over a couple quick dates and then we'll throw it to Miss Leslie. Registration for next year, it's hard to believe, for the 2022-23 school year really starts next week. We're going to be meeting with your children, Whitman students, on December 22nd. We're going to be doing that via video. They're going to get a registration card. They're going to see all the wonderful offerings that Whitman has. And then after break, they'll be able to come back. They're going to meet with their individual counselor, turn in their registration form. So hopefully this meeting today, I hope, answer a lot of your questions. I know when you come back from break, you'll probably have more questions. You can always reach out to your child's counselor. We'll be happy to help in any way that we can. And then the second week of January, that's when students are actually going to turn in their registration cards. They can upload their schedule choices into Synergy, into Student View over break and the first, second week of January. And then we kind of just, the counselors, I guess, reaffirm some choices with each student to make sure that they're taking a schedule that's balanced. We don't want anyone to overwhelm themselves with too demanding of a schedule. On the flip side, though, we don't want them to be underwhelmed either. We want them to be challenged, and we take a holistic approach here at Whitman. Have that balance academically, to be strong there and be successful and feeling good about yourself academically, and then after school with all the activities we have, or sports or drama, whatever it may be. So we don't want students to take 5 AP classes or more than that. So each individual student needs to find the fit and the need of their schedule with their, like I said, extracurricular activities and that balance of life. That's what we're looking for, is that balance. So I think we're going to get started here. I will be in the chat. If you want to throw some questions in the chat, hopefully I can answer them. When each resource teacher is done with their presentation, if we have enough time, we can maybe do a quick little Q&A, but at least put the questions in the chat and I'll try to answer those as best I can. And if you put a question in there, I can, have Miss Leslie or Mr. Kuhn or whomever is actually presenting at that time could answer that question. All right, Miss Leslie, so feel free to take the floor.
Hi, everyone. My name is Linda Leslie. I'm the chair of the English department, and I'm popping the link to my presentation into the chat if you'd like to save it or send it to friends or send it to the New York Times, whatever you like to do. Just kidding there. So here we go. So as we talk, please feel free to put questions in the chat, or if you'd like to just grab my email address there and send me a more detailed question about your student, feel free to do that and I'll do my best to answer your questions. So what I have here is a diagram of all of the courses that we offer in English. And if you imagine just a line, sort of a grid running across horizontally 9, 10, 11, 12, I guess the primary takeaway is that your students can take any level, any year. So they could certainly come over from Pyle or at any school, transfer in at any grade and decide to start, for example, in honors and discover that they're actually a student who prefers science or social studies and decide that they would like a different level of challenge and move to a regular level English class. And the same is true. They might start with a regular level and decide they would like to attempt a higher level of challenge and move to honors. And the idea is you don't want to be doing that in the middle of the quarter, but you certainly can do that after one marking period or do it at the semester. You can start in one level. So for example, if I've just moved my cursor here, you could easily move through on level, sorry for the bell here, regular level 9, 10, 11, and then all honors, all classes at the 12th grade level are honors or AP. We feel that we're preparing students to take that additional level of rigor. So by 12th grade, everyone's ready for an honors or an AP level course. On the other hand, you could jump at any point from 9th over into an honors 11, and end up in Lang in 12th grade. You could go over to honors in 9th grade, honors 10, and take the most rigorous course of study, which would be over here on the right-hand side, 9, 10, Lang, and Lit in that order. If a student only wants to attempt one AP class in high school, then we recommend that that be the Lang class, the language and composition class that's comparable to the basic level writing course that usually all college freshmen are expected to take. I've just been on college tours with my daughter, and almost every college said, oh, well, everyone has to take a freshman seminar, or everyone has to take a writing course. Often they're on very creative, exciting topics, but the purpose of the course is to teach students rhetorical modes and different ways of writing. And that is exactly what AP Lang and Comp is about. Also very exciting, they're in the middle of an election unit right now where they take the positions of, they have a communication team and counterattack ad team and press secretaries and candidates and so forth. And that's all in the interest of teaching argument. So that's a very exciting course. That course can be taken as an 11th grader or a 12th grader whenever a student feels ready. The Lit class is only for 12th graders. So that's a capstone course in English. So as I said, I do want to emphasize that flexibility component. So what's the difference? The big burning question is, what's the difference between honors and on level? So here in sort of the Whitman blue are the things that are the same. Everyone is going to write a primary writing assignment or major project in the narrative, argument, and analysis mode every quarter. We're ramping back up to that from the pandemic. So they're just doing 2 major common tasks right now every quarter. I expect we'll be back to 3 next year. Progress checks in quarters 2 and 3, summer reading and writing, writing instruction and support, and major anchor texts per semester. The difference is that in the on-level courses, you will have 2 educators in the classroom, either another co-teacher or another teacher or a para-educator. Oh, sorry. There will be additional scaffolding of the writing process in the form of chunking or maybe additional feedback on drafts or additional graphic organizers. And there usually are 3 or 4 sections of that level. At the honors level, there might be additional supplementary reading. Most of that is because there is additional independence expected. So the reading schedule might be given to the students, and maybe there isn't as much time using the audio in class, or there isn't as much time devoted to reading in class. So there's a little bit more time for supplementary reading. So it's a little faster, not necessarily more. I do want to put in a plug for our Writing Center. We have an outstanding Writing Center program here. We have 2 composition assistants available every day at lunch, Monday through Thursday, every day at lunch, and then Monday through Thursday after school. We also have a vibrant parent volunteer program. A lot of professional writers and retired professional writers come in and help students during lunches. We've had almost 400 visits this year from students, and all of our comp aides are very familiar with our writing assignments that our teachers are giving. So it's a valuable resource. I'm also going to preview our electives real quickly, and then I'll take questions. So we're really lucky to have a huge number. I feel like 10 is a great big number of electives in English this year. 3 of them are actually, excuse me, in the Leadership Academy for Social Justice program. So they don't carry English credit, but they're taught by English teachers. So you can see here that they're on exciting topics. We have lit as film, creative writing. We have a sequence down at the bottom, introductory journalism, the Black and White, which is our magazine and online presence, the equivalent of a newspaper, and then Whitman Shorts' TV production. I teach women's studies. It's just very exciting. African American Lit will be a new class next year. Hopefully eventually in the Leadership Academy, but next year it's an English class. So I have a little slide about each of them. This is about women's studies. Give you some idea, and you have the link so you can look at these slides in greater detail. Theater counts as a fine arts credit, but it's also taught by an English teacher. This you can take as a single semester or take both semesters as a year-long sequence. This is the Culture as Lit, which is taught as drama-based. And this is Media in Society. African American Literature. Test prep. And the way that works is students take 1 semester of math and 1 semester of English. So they take it in the second half of their 10th grade year and the first half of their 11th grade year. Lit as film. And then the journalism sequence. So that's the end of my formal presentation. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, thanks, Linda, for all that wonderful information.
Sure.
If you do have a question, put it in the chat. I'm going to read out a couple here. I figured that'd be easier for me to do as opposed to people jumping on Zoom. And we have wonderful participation as always with Whitman parents. We're up to 110, it looks like. Easy question first, Linda. Where is the Writing Center located? I know where it is, but it's a new room number this year, so I don't want to give the old room number.
At 292, room 292. On the second floor near the main staircase.
I guess it may be a tricky question here. Are you saying AP Lang is not as rigorous as AP Lit?
Oh, absolutely not. They're just profoundly different. I think I would say that Lit is for the English student, the student who wants to read extended works. They read Crime and Punishment, for example, Mrs. Dalloway, The Scarlet Letter, Beloved, Their Eyes Were Watching God. They read extended pieces of classic and modern literature, whereas Lang, it's for the student that is devoted to English, to writing and reading and analyzing and reading literature. I would not ever say that it's not as rigorous. Lang is shorter works and more analyzing the rhetorical strategies of argument. So they're just very different. It's a micro course. You're looking at, you might look at speeches, you might look at advertising rhetoric. There's election unit, the kids are up on their feet, putting rhetoric into action. It's still extraordinarily rigorous in the sense that it's a kind of analysis that the students have not been doing in other classes. I see another question. If they're only going to take one AP, they should take Lang, and they should take, it doesn't matter whether they take it in 11th and 12th, but they cannot take Lit in 12th. So, or in 11th. So if they're going to take both, they need to take them in sequence, Lang first, Lit second, if that makes sense.
And going back to some of these questions, a couple of people asked, and you may have covered this, I apologize if I missed it.
No, it's okay.
What are the major differences between honors and AP?
Okay. So honors follows the MCPS curriculum in the sense that it will be theme-based. And it will include the MCPS progress checks. And the AP follows an approved curriculum from the College Board, and it will be assessed not by progress checks, but by an exam at the end of the year. So that exam is a national exam. It doesn't go into the grade, but that's the goalpost that the students are aiming for all year long. They'll be working closely with the College Board website and looking at, looking at exercises and sample tests from that website all year long. So the goal is different.
A couple questions about electives, and then we can move on to math.
Sure.
For Whitman Schwartz, do you need to take the journalism class in 10th grade prior to joining Whitman Schwartz?
So this is not journalism 1 or J1 as they call it, is not a hard prerequisite. It's strongly encouraged for both Black and White and for Whitman Schwartz. The J1 includes some broadcasting reporting, basics of reporting, and some broadcasting instruction. It does not instruct on editing and shots and formatting of film journalism. So it does prepare them in some ways. Students who take Schwartz are also encouraged or considered if they have, photojournalism experience, or if they've taken digital art, that kind of thing. If kids have questions about how to handle the sequence, they're both Mr. Derenberger and Mr. Schaefer encourage them to come and speak directly to them to plan out their sequence, depending on what aspect of journalistic production they're interested in. Some kids are interested in online production, some on digital art, some in reporting. So they work very closely with the individual students. So your students should swing by the English department and speak to the sponsors.
And the last question also in regards to that, if you do take journalism as a 10th grader, are you guaranteed a spot on the Black and White?
Yes, if you want it. They intern with one of their with either the Black and White or the Schwartz in the 4th quarter of the J1 class, and they are not guaranteed an editorial position or even guaranteed that they'll be on the team that they want, but they're guaranteed to be able to work on the paper or on Schwartz.
Thank you. And the last thing in regards to English, because I see these questions floating in the chat.
Yeah.
The English electives do not count towards the graduation requirement for English. Students need to take English 9, 10, 11, and 12, or if they don't take 11 or 12, they could take AP Lang as a junior or senior. That'll count towards the graduation requirement. So will AP Lit. Journalism, theater, media, and society, those do not count towards the English graduation requirement.
That's correct. Thank you for clarifying that. Right.
Sure. Okay. Thank you, Ms. Leslie, for all that great
Thanks,
information.
everyone.
Appreciate it.
Email me if you need me.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
All right. So next up is my favorite subject, which is math, and that's Mr. Kuhn. So Mr. Kuhn, when you're ready, go after it.
I am ready. Thank you, Mr. Toth. Appreciate that. And I'm just looking at this, and it's so funny. I'm on my school laptop, which has never been home, and I'm logged in as my wife. I have no idea why. Sorry about that. So I guess it's just Google playing tricks on me. I'm Jim Kuhn. I'm the math resource teacher. I'm charged in the math department. That's my contact information. I'm sure there's a lot of you on here who have really individual questions about the sequence of the classes and what your son or daughter is going to take next year and what they should sign up for and stuff like that. I'm going to try to clarify the best I can in general here, but please know, send me an email. That's a great way to connect to me because I can pull up all their test scores. I can get in there, all the data that we have on them, and I can give you some really good insight about like what might be an appropriate placement for the next year if you have questions about that. So send me an email or give me a call, and I'm happy to talk to you about that with individual questions. So one of the things I'm trying to get me and Google Chrome don't work all that well together, as you can see. Just some basic requirements. Students are required to have 4 math credits to graduate. Those credits start counting in Algebra 1. So if they take Algebra 1 in 7th or 8th grade, those credits do count towards their graduation requirement. Students must take a math class all 4 years. So it used to be that like once they got through calculus, they didn't have to take a math class, for instance. That's changed. The state of Maryland now requires everybody to take a math class all 4 years. 2 classes are required. Algebra, you have to have a credit in algebra and you have to have a credit in geometry. Algebra is kind of an easy one to cover because we can cover it with Algebra 1 or Algebra 2 or even pre-calculus covers the algebra credit requirement. Geometry is a different one. That's a difficult one because it's standalone. It's very, very unique. Like it's a very unique topic, a very unique year of teaching in terms of the geometry. And students have to take geometry. Montgomery County Public Schools does not allow people to take geometry outside the school system. So you have to take it within Montgomery County Public Schools or have to have a proper credit on your transcript from that geometry from a previous school. If you have questions about that, I get a lot of questions. I know Mr. Toth and I deal with a lot of people that are trying to graduate and they say, hey, they don't have geometry. And then we got to go back and do some research. And sometimes it's a matter of grabbing the correct transcript from the correct school and getting it on there. But it can be a mystery. So please email me if you have questions about that geometry requirement. And then finally, the only state testing that we do in math is called the MCAP. That's given at the end of Algebra 1. If your son or daughter took Algebra 1 in a previous year, they've taken it already. If they're taking Algebra 1 this current year, they will take it later this spring. That right now is, there's not a passing requirement for the MCAP for this year. If you have a younger son or daughter, they might be at a point where they have to have a passing requirement or be built into their semester grade. I put together, like, this is just kind of a sample sequence. Like if you take this class, if you take, in 6th grade or 7th grade or 8th grade, whenever you take the Algebra 1, then things start counting. And basically in math, it gets to be like, it used to be pretty cut and dry. So you took Algebra 1, then you took geometry and took Algebra 2, pre-calculus, calculus, whatever. As you get up there, your junior and senior year, you start having like, you're taking pre-calculus and then maybe you want to take statistics. So you go to AP statistics instead of AP calculus. Like you get some options later on in the course sequence that we don't have in the younger years. It's not like you can decide after geometry, like, okay, I'm not going to take the next course in the sequence. So it's pretty cut and dry for a while. And then as they get older, their junior and senior year, it's not quite as much. Some thoughts about that. Let me kind of go to this, some kind of math thoughts about that. I put up here, slow down if you can. The struggle this year is real. I'm here to tell you that the stuff that you're reading in the newspaper, the stuff you're hearing on the news about students and school and math achievement, the struggle is definitely impacted everybody, including our school community, without a doubt, in math. Maybe last year, going back to Miss Leslie, maybe last year your son or daughter during COVID would pick up a book and read it and all that stuff. They probably didn't sit down and solve quadratic equations. That's my guess. And so Algebra 2, for instance, our students in Algebra 2 right now have started the quadratics unit. They were taking Algebra 1 when we went on COVID. They were doing quadratics in Algebra 1 when we went on COVID, and now they're doing it in Algebra 2 face-to-face. It's been a really difficult challenge for our teachers, for our community, for our kids in math classes. I would suggest that if you are somebody who's like, okay, they took Algebra 1 during COVID and they're going into Algebra 2 next year, if math is not necessarily like okay, hey, math is like my strong point, that's fine. Then you can keep on going, do the honors Algebra 2, all that stuff. But if it's something like, it's not necessarily the top subject for your son or daughter, I would consider the 2-year Algebra 2 program. The second bullet there with Algebra 1, that doesn't really, that does not apply to anybody on this call. That'll be more for my students who are down at Pile this year and coming up. Colleges do expect, Mr. Toth can answer this, that colleges do expect them to get through Algebra 2. And then the course acceleration, I get all people ask me questions about this all the time, like taking summer school courses or taking courses within MCPS or other ways of taking courses to advance their placement. That's a very unique question, and I have to look at your own individual situation. I would advise against it. This is my own personal opinion on it, like my own observations of what we've gone through for the past 4 months. I would advise against that, but there are opportunities out there. And if you are interested, again, reach out to me and I can provide some really good information for you about that. In terms of the acceleration, we do have advanced courses. And so up our later years, we do offer an accelerated or an enriched level of pre-calculus that used to be called Rapid Learner. They've changed the name of that. So it's going to be accelerated and enriched pre-calculus. And then we have AP courses in calculus. AB is 1 semester of calculus over a whole year. BC is 1 year of college level calculus over a full year. So BC is taught at a higher level. They have more, about 75% of the class is the same, but they have another additional objectives and units that they have to do within BC. Student takes BC, they get an AB subscore on the exam. AP Statistics has become an incredibly popular course. We have 6 full sections now, and we, I expect to have more. A typical timeline, like a typical path of students that come in here is they'll be taking like a calculus class their junior year, and then their senior year they go to statistics. We do have kids that we have a 2 multivariable calculus classes and 1 linear algebra class, and that's a course that's taken their senior year beyond BC calculus, and those are both college level classes. And Mrs. Doshek, who teaches that class, both of those classes, multivariable and linear, she has a lot of kids that take both of them concurrently. That can happen, and that does happen quite often. And then again, with like Mrs. Leslie said, the honors versus on-level courses. Our honors courses are going to be moved faster paced. They're going to be having different topics. They're going to have, not different topics, they're going to be taught in the same sequence, but they have additional topics that have to be included in each of the sets of standards. The quiz questions are not going to be ones that are necessarily on homework and just changing the numbers. They're going to be like a unique representation of the objectives of the standards being taught. There's going to be some more independent study and thought that goes into the honors level courses. They're going to be taught at a higher level. There's going to be, additional challenges, like I said, and I think that last bullet is really important. They have to engage in some productive struggle to be successful in an honors level course here at Whitman. People ask me that all the time: should they take honors algebra 2 or regular algebra 2? Should they take honors geometry or regular geometry? It depends on your son and daughter, and I do think that one of the things that we have seen coming back, I've seen in the math classes about that productive struggle, is that students have had a hard time getting back into the routine of going to school and doing work on a regular basis and having classes every day. So that can be a little bit of a challenge as well. So like I said, if you have individual questions about your son or daughter, if you really want them to be like, you have like, oh, I'm in this situation, what should I do about this? Email or call me and we can talk through it. I'm happy to talk to you about it. But if you can, I would consider like trying to slow them down instead of pushing them forward. I'm happy, Mr. Toth, to answer questions. If you have any questions in the chat, I don't want to stand too long. I know Ms. Johnson's behind me. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Is Mr. Toth there? Did he go away? Let me see what I got here.
Okay, just like the last meeting that happened, I froze up again. I don't know, my laptop can't handle all the folks on Zoom, I guess. So thank you, Mr. Kuhn. I'm not sure if Mr. Kuhn is still there. Yes, this happened at the last meeting. Mr. Kuhn, couple quick questions before we get to science. What are the considerations for choosing between AB or BC Calc?
Primarily, our BC calculus students are students who are thinking they want to be a STEM major in college. Most of our AB students are people who are not necessarily STEM majors, but are good, solid math students who, are thinking they want to be a psychology major or a liberal arts major as opposed to a STEM major in college. Most of the BC students are like people who are thinking, science, math, engineering, that type of field of study.
Which is considered more challenging for students, AP Stats or AP Calc?
AP Calculus is significantly more challenging mathematically than AP Statistics. AP Statistics has become a very popular class. The math is not as rigorous. It's more interpretation of the numbers. AP Statistics is seen in most majors throughout college. AP Calculus really focuses it on the STEM majors.
A couple more. Do students in ninth grade who do well in Algebra 1 end up having to take AP Calc, even if math isn't their area of interest?
No, they do not. They do not. So if they take Algebra 1 in ninth grade, they can take Geometry 10th grade, 11th grade Algebra 2, or if they feel like they really want to slim this down, they can take 2-year Algebra 2, 11th grade, 12th grade, or they can take Algebra 2, 11th grade, and then take either Intro to Statistics or AP Statistics their senior year.
Okay, and then could a student take AP Stats at the same time as taking honors or AP Calc?
Yes, we do have students to do that. We do have students also who will take like through BC Calculus, and they'll be in multivariable calculus and take AP Statistics at the same time.
Couple other questions here that I can maybe answer with Mr. Kuhn. Which math courses are at the honors level? Most of them do have an honors component to them. Algebra 1 does not, but I think Mr. Kuhn, for the most part, most other classes have the honors component, except for stats. That does not have, that's either AP or on level stats.
Right.
We do have honors pre-calculus. Any particular math classes that are best taken concurrently with the engineering pathway? If you are planning on being an engineer, or your child is, if the student can be successful in the math classes, I mean, you really should try to shoot for calculus on the math side, and then physics on the science side. And then the last question I don't understand as much, and then another one here. What should you do with a struggling Algebra 2 honors student? And Mr. Kuhn could chime in. I think meeting with the teacher is one of the first steps. Also communicating with the counselor, talking to the child to see what can best help the child get through the Algebra 2 class. We do have some students that move from honors Algebra 2 first semester to on-level Algebra 2 for second semester, so that could be an option too. Like Mr. Kuhn was saying, Miss Leslie and myself, we just want to find the right class for the student to be successful in. We don't want someone being in honors level or high level math class that they can't handle. We want them to be successful. So it's also about finding that right fit. Anything else, Mr. Kuhn, you want to chime in?
No, like I said, I'm happy to answer questions. Like email me or call me, and I can help with the placement, or if you have questions about like just making it through the rest of this year, the rest of this semester, I'm happy to do the best I can to help. We do have the ability, just so you know, there is math help every day during lunchtime in room 351. So if you have somebody in honors Algebra 2 or pre-calculus who's struggling right now, encourage them to stop by the math office and get the help they need.
And I will wrap up math in a second here. What is the sequence for Algebra 2 in 11th grade? That means you would take Algebra 1 in 8th grade, or Algebra 1 9th grade, Geometry in 10th grade, and Algebra 2 in 11th grade. And what is the math requirement if a student wants to study medical science? There's not a general requirement from Whitman. You need to meet the 4 credits in mathematics, plus be enrolled in a math all 4 years of high school. The best thing I would recommend for that is, checking with the school or going to their website, the college, and really see what they require. You can talk to your child's counselor. We can maybe help guide you a little bit there too. But going to the college's website could sometimes help when looking up some of those programs and the requirements that they have. Thanks, Mr. Kuhn.
Thank you.
Before we get to science, just want to give a quick little shout out to the CAC chairs, the Counseling Advisory Committee chairs, Susan Morden and Dana Resnick. They do a wonderful job, and they're putting on this presentation today along with the counseling department. Obviously, they support us extremely well. We have a great schedule all year that I had up and ready on my last computer before a crash. But the next meeting, we have 2 big ones coming up. Well, we have one this evening, actually, a junior parent meeting, the nuts and bolts of college planning. I know they have the webinar link. Sorry if we get some of these out late. Some of these links, it takes a while for these to be created, but that's a virtual meeting tonight that starts at 6:30. And then Thursday, January 6th, we have two meetings coming up. One in the afternoon from 1:30 to 2:30. That is the CAC supported meeting for the internship programs. We'll talk about the science internships and the business internships that we offer here at Whitman. And they're also that same evening, Thursday, January 6th at 6:30, we have the 10th grade sophomore parents meeting. We'll talk about the scheduling process and how to schedule for the junior year, amongst other things. So those are some of the meetings coming up. So speaking of science, not necessarily the internships, but the science curriculum and program is one of our new RTs at Whitman, resource teachers at Whitman. Mike Schweitzer, he's been doing a great job coming to Whitman. He came to Whitman from Quince Orchard. He runs a wonderful department, and the kids are really engaged in science. They love the program, so that speaks to his leadership. So Mike, whenever you're ready, go ahead and take it away.
Thank you for that warm welcome. My name is Mike Schweizer. I'm the resource teacher for science here at Whitman. My email, phone number are listed. For whatever reason, the phone system calls don't get to my office, so I've included my Google Voice number if you wanted to call me. Here at Whitman and in MCPS, we have an anti-racist approach to science as education. All students are provided the same performance expectations by being enrolled in biology, chemistry, and physics. And while those classes aren't what every student needs, they're the indicators and objectives that all students need. Each of those classes is rigorous in their own way and develops higher order thinking and productive science citizens. One of the main questions parents have as they enter Whitman is the difference between on-level and honors in the science department. In general, honors moves about 25 to 33% faster than on-level, right? Material covered in class is often finished at home. Due to that, there is likely more homework in honors as students are finishing their work that they couldn't finish at school. And there is a synthesis of information that most students are new to. It's less about what you can memorize and more about what you can apply to future situations, right? Also in honors, we believe the independence is higher. So there'll be, more situations, examples, and material that is likely done on their own with teacher support. That is less so in on-level. Right. The reading level in on-level classes is also usually at a more manageable level, as is the pace and math from each course. If you have got a child currently in Whitman, this is probably new to you. With the class of 23 and beyond, there are 3 requirements for graduation, and this is new. There's a life science requirement, a physical science requirement, and a earth space integrated requirement. Okay? This is new as of a couple of months ago, and it's likely affected, I said, class of 23 and beyond. Okay? Certain classes fit certain needs. So for life science, you can earn that course by taking biology, honors biology, or AP biology. Physical science is chemistries, physics courses, or astronomy with physics. In earth space, there is some overlap with physical science, chemistry, the physics courses, and then AP environmental science. You have to have one course in each of those 3 categories. We do offer 5 courses that are not aligned to one of those 3 courses, those 3 standards. Forensics, anatomy, climate justice, internships, and molecular bio are not NGSS, National science standards. So because of that, they don't count towards one of those 3 standards. So I'll give you a couple examples of a course sequence, and we'll see if they fit the needs of these new standards. So if a student takes honors bio, honors chem, honors physics, 9th, 10th, 11th, they will meet all 3 standards from those courses. If a student, if a student takes biology, chemistry, then forensics, they will not meet the standards since forensics is a non-NGSS elective course. If the students take honors bio, honors chem, AP bio, that is not the standard because the bio and the AP bio are both in the life science category. In the past, and even for upperclassmen in school now, this would have been enough. But going forward, this does not meet the requirements of the state. So what does that mean you should plan for? For most students, I think they'd follow this plan. 9th grade, biology or honors bio. 10th grade, chemistry or honors chemistry. 11th grade, physics, honors physics, or a course that we call astronomy with physics. Okay, you can also take electives 11th grade and 12th grade. For most of our students, this is the plan they will follow. Now, I will give you some accelerated options. These are not the only options, they're just some options. So one accelerated option would be taking honors bio 9th grade and then doubling up honors chem and honors physics sophomore year. That's one accelerated option that gets all 3 recommendations and gets you to electives faster. Another option, honors bio and honors chem 9th grade, and then either honors physics or AP physics 1 your 10th grade year. Again, these aren't the only options. These are some accelerated options. Since for 9th graders, the choice is mainly honors bio versus bio. Here's the information we have. For honors bio, it's highly recommended to be in honors geometry, but is not required. There is some varied math solving problems. And the depth is deeper than on-level bio. Expect homework 3 to 4 nights a week. Biology, most students are in either Algebra 1 or geometry during that year. The math level does not exceed Algebra 1 related math and is more of a project-based approach. Homework 2 to 3 nights per week. And then there's a lot of overlap with the physics option, and a lot of courses sound the same, but aren't the same. So for most students, their first physics course is either physics, honors physics, astronomy with physics, or a course we call AP Physics 1. That's an algebra-based math course. Based on one of those 4, second-year physics students take AP Calculus single period or AP Calculus, AP Physics Calculus, single period, or AP Physics Calculus double period. That is a second or third year physics course. And then finally here at Whitman, we're blessed with some really smart, hardworking kids and some really smart, supportive teachers. I'm gonna always take this chance to show off a little bit. We are routinely producing high-level science students. We get really good AP scores, really good national scores. And we prepare a lot of students for STEM careers. And that's something to be quite proud of.
All right, thank you. Oh, sorry.
Should I check out the questions?
Go ahead. No, yeah, you want to go ahead and check out the question? Sure.
Yeah, I'm on it. Yep. All
Yep,
right,
thank you.
Yep. All right, so there is a biomedical pathway. What that is it's a 6-class pathway the students can take. We currently offer all 6 of the courses. What we do not offer this year, we hope to offer next year, is the capstone experience. So provided we have enough students, we can arrange internships, visits, speakers for students to earn that capstone experience for the biomedical careers. If we don't offer that, we still have the courses, and that's listed in the course bulletin, required to be a part of that group. So between physics and astronomy with physics, astronomy with physics was designed as a NGSS aligned option that is not math heavy and is more project based. So if your student is math phobic, astronomy with physics is a really good option. Single AP Physics C versus double period. Single period is electricity. Double period is electricity and magnetism. Just determines what topics are covered. Obviously, if you only have room for one period, you would take single period, not double period. AP Environmental Science and AP Physics C, we hope are offered every year. As long as enough students sign up, they'll be offered every year. Internships are upper level electives. So I could say 11th or 12th, usually they're 12th. We would like students to finish all of their requirements before taking electives or internships. That way there's no issue of come graduation time, oh, you're one course short. AP Psychology is not a science course, it's a social studies history course. AP Chem is double period. So we've got a few double periods. AP Chem, double period. AP Bio, double period. AP Physics C, double period, is a double period course. So honors physics versus AP Physics 1. They're both algebra based. Honors Physics 1, students can still use their math skills to maybe where their science skills aren't yet. So I've taught the course before. I've had students who can kind of plug and chug and solve. AP Physics 1, you need a strong understanding of science principles to get to the point where you're solving the work. So higher level AP Physics 1.
And Mr. Swizer,
Yes,
I am out in the new building. I'm getting my steps in because my computer crashed and this other computer I'm using, so I had to go ahead and grab Miss Johnson. So she's a little tight for time, so I want her to get started. Is it okay if the folks reach out to you or their child's counselor about science questions?
Yeah, let me just say one thing
Yep,
quick.
go ahead. Sure.
We do not recommend taking an AP course before the traditional course. So we do not recommend taking AP Bio before Honors Bio. We do not recommend taking Honors AP Chem before Honors Chem. There is the option to start with AP Physics 1 instead of physics, but that's a case-by-case basis. Any questions, email me, call me. Happy to help. Thank you.
Thank you. Now I'm going to hand it over to Miss Johnson to talk about social studies.
Yeah, but it's gonna be. one of these tabs.
Right there, yep.
Yeah, let me get the link so I can put it in the chat for everyone.
Sorry about this.
So I am not Ms. Sukas. I am Susie Johnson, and I am the head of the Social Studies Department. And I am going to get my link for you all so I can put it into the chat for the presentation. Give me a second. Do I have access to the link, Mr. Toth?
Should, yeah.
Right there. Okay. Perfect. Okay, so that is the link to my social studies presentation. All right, and then let me go into present mode. There we go. All right, and people have joined, so that's a good sign. All right, so we saved the best for last, social studies. So what I'd like to do for you all in the next few minutes is just share what the required classes are for social studies and what the potential electives are that your child would be able to take here in social studies. Our goal is to have your students take as many social studies classes as possible because it's my favorite subject. So let's start with the required classes. So you all are all current Whitman parents, correct? Mr. Toth, I'm speaking to all current Whitman parents. They all have a child here currently. Okay, so you kind of need to figure out what class your child is in currently, what classes they've taken and what classes they still need to take to graduate. So you do need 3 credits in social studies to be able to graduate. The first is in US history, the second is in NSL, national, state, and local government, and the third is in modern world history. And we do offer all of those at a variety of different levels. So they can opt to take any of these 3 courses at the on-level, honors, or AP level. And then on my next slide, we know that they need 3 credits. My next slide, I have kind of the common pathways to meet the graduation requirement. So again, you can take a look at this kind of through the lens of what course your child currently is in. And then you can see what they would still need to take to meet their 3 requirements. So over in 9th grade, if we have any parents out there who have a child currently in 9th grade, they are either in on-level US history, honors US history, or AP US government and politics. And then you can just follow the arrows over to their 10th grade year to see what courses they should be registering for in terms of the required classes if they're going into 10th grade. And then again, if they're in 10th grade, you can reflect back on what they've taken, what course they're in currently, and then where they can go in their 11th and 12th grade year. And then I've color coded everything. So all of our US history classes are red, our purple is our government classes, and then the blue is our world history classes. So again, they can take it at any of the levels to earn the credit for that course. So we'll just take, for example, we don't have time to do all of the different pathways, but let's just take, for example, hypothetically, if you have a 9th grade student who is currently in AP US government and politics, then their next move would most likely be to go to AP US history. They also have the option though to take honors US history if they would like. They need to get that US history credit that they didn't get during their 9th grade year, like some of their classmates. So they can choose to either take it at the AP level or the honors level. We do encourage them if they're on the AP track to continue with AP US history. And then they would move on to AP world history, either in their 11th or 12th grade year. And again, same situation if they are overloaded with AP classes in other courses, then they can certainly take either of these at the honors level. So I see there are some questions in the chat. I can speak to those before I go on to the electives. If an 11th grader is taking AP World History, 12th would be electives. Yeah, so if an 11th grader has all 3 of the required courses for social studies, US history, government, and world history, then certainly we would encourage them to take as many social studies electives as they can. And that's going to be on my next slide. And can 9th graders take AP NSL? Yes, we do take about 100 9th graders every year. There's about 400 students total taking it. So the majority are 10th graders who have taken either on-level or honors US history in 9th grade. But we do have a select few, like I said, about 100 students coming over from Pyle or other locations who do jump right into that AP US government and politics, and then they would have to backtrack and take their, not really backtracking, but they would have to just make sure they take their US history credit in their 10th grade year. And then here is all the wonderful electives that we offer here in social studies. And I have created a 3-column table here just to show you kind of the different types of electives that we have. So if you start all the way over on the left-hand side, here are the social studies specific electives that are part of our LASJ, Leadership Academy for Social Justice program. And all of these, for the most part, are available for 10th through 12th graders. That's what the number is below the course, 10th through 12th graders. One that is available to all grades is the Introduction to Social Justice course, which I actually teach alongside with our assistant principal, Mr. Greg Miller. And then over in the middle column is our non-LASJ social studies electives. All of these electives are 1 semester in length. And again, the majority of them are going to be reserved for 11th and 12th graders, with the exception of sociology is open to 10th through 12th. And specifically the Psych Journal, to highlight that is a publication. So that is by application, and it is a full year course, whereas all the other ones are 1 semester. And then we have our AP courses, which are over on the right-hand column. AP Comparative Politics, AP Economics is a full year, 1 semester of micro, 1 semester of macro, AP Psychology, and AP Human Geography. So hopefully that gives you a little insight into what the 3 required courses are, as well as the electives that we offer here in social studies. And I don't think I have any other questions in the chat that have come in that I missed, but feel free if you have a question to put one in the chat. But of course, as always, as all the other resource teachers have probably said today, feel free to also email me if you would like to. Does AP Psychology use statistics? Should the students take AP Stats alongside? Can it be taken before 11th grade? So they don't need to. I don't think that there is a huge component of statistics or need for that requirement prior to taking AP Psychology. So I would say that it's not required and they don't need to take it alongside that. We do have a couple of students who have taken AP Psychology as 10th graders, sort of on more one-on-one basis. If there is an interest in taking it early, they can reach out to their counselor. Counselor can reach out to myself. I can reach out to the teachers. And as long as there is space in the course, then they typically have been okay with 10th graders in, but trying to reserve it mostly for 11th and 12th graders. They don't want 10th graders taking spots away from juniors and seniors who are interested in taking it. Next question was, can you take a history elective at the same time as a core course? Absolutely. Yep, we actually have many students who do that, who are taking not only their modern world course, let's say, but they're also taking law and philosophy and AP Psychology. So they are able to do that as long as they have room in their schedule. And we actually are not offering AP European. We have offered it in the past, but it is not a course that we are going to be offering in the 2022-23 school year next year. I've heard students should not take AP Lang and AP World at the same time. So yeah, this is kind of something that I have heard as well. So it's really probably just a personal student choice. I would probably have your child have a conversation with their counselor about what their course load looks like when they are trying to take those 2 courses, and then make a decision in conversation with obviously you all the parents and the counselor. And Mr. Toth, I don't know if you want to speak to that as well, because you obviously hear kids coming down asking about that.
Yes, I think like Ms. Johnson was saying, that's a kind of a individual student choice, depending on the situation and things like that. So I would have your child check in with their counselor to, get a better answer on that.
That like kind of jumps around.
It does, yeah.
It's hard to stop it. Yeah, I think
Okay.
I answered them all.
All right,
Thank you all so much. And please email me with any questions.
great.
Thanks for coming out.
Oh, yeah, no problem. Thank you, Ms. Johnson. So again, this meeting was recorded, even though my computer crashed. It's going to the cloud, so should be good there. The closed captioning I saw earlier was working. We're going to post the recording and also the slides from each resource teacher onto the counseling part of the website. So when you go to the Whitman website, the main page is there. You go to the counseling section, then you go to the, it'll take you to the counseling website, and that's where you'll find the recordings, the slides, all that great information we shared today will be on the website. Like I was saying earlier, when we first started, we're going to meet with the 9th, 10th, and 11th graders on Wednesday, the day before break, talk about the class offerings. There's going to be a registration card that they should bring home. You could take a look at that. The recordings that we're doing on Wednesday will also be posted on the Whitman website, so you can take a look at it after break. Administration will be sending out, the Whitman administration will be sending out the dates and things like that, a little bit more of, I guess, a registration calendar, if you will, about some important dates coming up. We'll also talk to your child on Wednesday about when their registration forms are due. The plan is right now, the second week of January, all those registration forms are going to be due. So, but if your child's not going to be here the day before winter break, we understand that. That's why we'll have recordings posted on the website so they can just look at the recording, follow the instructions and register online, then meet with their counselor the second week of January, and we can, finalize the schedule. It was asked earlier in the chat about Pile students. We're meeting with the 8th grade students. The counselors, or the Whitman counselors, are January 6th and 7th. So we'll be heading over to Pile. It'll be the same procedure on how to register for courses through Student View on Synergy. I can't remember the exact date of when they need to turn those in, but there's a couple of weeks in between before they have to turn those in. I think it's maybe January 21st, but don't quote me on that. So yes, I'll answer a couple more questions in the chat before we finish here. And Ms. Johnson is leaving, so I can take my mask off soon. Does Whitman offer high school dual enrollment courses? Yes. We do have a partnership with Montgomery College. There's you can take dual enrollment courses, where meaning you take Whitman courses in the morning and then you take Montgomery College classes in the afternoon. You could do that. There's also what's called early college placement, where your child would not take any classes at Whitman. They would take a full schedule at Montgomery College. They would apply to MC at the end of their sophomore year, by the end of their sophomore year, and they would take college level courses for their junior and senior year, and they would come out of MC with an associate's degree. Yes, thank you. If your child wanted to do that, Mr. Kapner, one of the counselors at Whitman, he runs the AP exams. He runs Montgomery County dual enrollment and also our early college placement program. So you can reach out to your child's counselor or Mr. Kapner, and we can help you through that process. If a student is interested in entrepreneurships, is there a recommended path of focus area? We do have a good number of internships. We call them business internships or science internships. We're going to talk about those more in our next CAC meeting. That's the one January 6th at 1:30. Ms. Marifatsos is in charge of our business internships, really the non-science internships, and Mr. Garten is in charge of the science internships. They'll be talking about both of those programs there. Students really don't take internships at Whitman until, for the most part, their senior year. You can also do those junior year too, if you can fit everything into your schedule. Which music courses, honors level music courses? When you get up to the higher level music courses in the instrumental part of the music department and also the choral part of the music department, the top level ones are also honors level courses. The introductory courses, guitar, piano, freshman chorus, symphonic band, some of those are not honors level when you first get started. But as you move up the ladder, if you will, then those could become honors courses. Health requirements, great question. The health requirement for current 10th graders is the same as it's been the past few years. You need to do a half credit of health to graduate, one semester, 0.5 credit by the time they graduate. You may have heard about the new health requirement. That only impacts the class, the current ninth grade class. So that's the class of 2025. About new health requirements. Will it still be offered in summer school? It should be offered in summer school health, but we don't know. The summer school schedule from MCPS doesn't come out normally until March or probably April, right? Maybe right before spring break. So it should be offered over the summer, but we'll have to see what they offer. But it's been offered the past 3 or 4 years, so I assume that's the case this year. And like I just said, summer school schedules will be announced maybe March, more likely April. And it says I cut out, I apologize. So the new health requirement doesn't apply to current sophomores and above. The class of 2025 and below, and I have to think, I don't have my sheet in front of me, so I'm off the top of my head. There's a new health requirement. I don't want to say it's for the class of 2025 or 2026 yet, so don't hold me to anything yet. We're gonna get more into that, into registration. I've been running around the building and stuff like that, so I want to make sure I'm saying the right information. I got my exercise. I'm trying to balance these computers and stuff like that. But for current sophomores, they just need a half credit of health. And then we'll get into more about the new requirements for the below the class of 2025 and below as registration kicks in starting next week. So hopefully I didn't confuse anyone there by all those different dates and all those things like that, but okay. Thank you for attending today. And sorry for all the confusion. Hopefully you didn't even notice it, me running around and all kind of stuff like that, but we will fix it, I promise, for the next CAC meeting in January. So have a great break and we'll see you next year.